YouTube, what's going on? My name is Argon. Welcome back to another Fortnite tutorial. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about the top 5 places on the map that you want to avoid. These are places that are probably not going to get you very far. Either you're going to get yourself in a bad situation early on, or you're going to end up, being in a bad position once the storm starts moving. But either way, let's get right into it. Coming in at number 5, we have Tomato Town. Now, Tomato Town makes it on this list because it's pretty popular due to the fact that the tunnel is supposed to be well known for having a good amount of loot. Most people already know this secret, so their chances of ever actually getting there are probably slim to none unless you're the very first person to drop. On top of that, there's not that many buildings in Tomato Town, and there's not that many surrounding areas, so if you do get yourself in a bad situation with no loot, you're gonna get yourself probably dead. So try and avoid Tomato Town if you can. There's not a lot of good places to be at. There's plenty of other places around that you can go. Try one of those spots instead and just make your way through Tomato Town as a check if you really feel like it. Otherwise, just try and avoid it at all costs. Coming in at number 4 is Flush Factory. Now, the one positive Flush Factory does offer you is tons of metal. If you have time to loot for or farm for metal, make sure you get as much metal as you can, because you'll probably walk away with 200 to 300, sometimes even 400 metal, which is a really good way to start a map. It will help you out end map if you ever get that far, but in general, what you're going to do is you're going to see yourself dropping with a lot of people, put yourself really far out of position that if you have to get out of there, you're going to put yourself in a bad spot. And most of the time, the circle doesn't end there, so you're going to be spending a lot of time running, even if you get out of there alive. So in general, I would recommend avoiding Flush Factory at all costs. Coming in at number 3, we have Moistmire. Now, Moistmire is another spot that's in the corner of a map, and that's not always a bad thing, but in this case, it's a pretty bad thing because not only is it in the corner of the map, it's also got all that mud in there, so if you end up stuck in the mud, you're going to have a really slow time getting through there. And if you put yourself in a spot where you're in the middle of the mud and somebody else has a gun, they're going to easily kill you. It'll be no problem. So if anything, you want to try and avoid Moistmire, especially because the loot ends up being inside these hollow trees, which is not common. That's the only place in the whole map where you'll find that. And so if you don't really know Moistmire all that well, you're going to have a hard time getting through there. Not to mention, if you're dropping early, your ability to actually build over the swamp in order for you to get around easily is going to be very slim because your material count is going to be real low. So just try and avoid Moistmire at all costs, unless of course it ends there, but at that point you should be plenty loot and be able to survive. Coming in at number 2, we have Loot Lake. Loot Lake is a pretty popular spot. Sounds like it's a good spot because it's called Loot Lake. However, the loot is not all that common, and on top of that, most of the loot's in the house in the middle of the lake, which is not a good position to be in. If you drop there with any other person, more than one team, you're probably going to end up dying. If you get lucky enough to make it out alive, you better hope you have enough material to build yourself out, because it's a big long trek across that lake, and anybody that's sitting on the outside of the lake can easily spot you and easily kill you. The one thing about Loot Lake though is a lot of times you'll see the storm will pass through there and make you have to get through there. So if you are in a position where you realize that the storm's going to pass you by there and you got to get around, make sure you start your pass early, because you're going to need some time, because you're probably going to get into a gunfight or two. So make sure you get through there carefully and safely. Number 1 on this list is my least favorite place on the map, Death Depot, as I like to call it, or Dusty Depot as they like to call it. The reason I don't like Dusty is it's right smack dab in the middle of the map. A lot of places, a lot of people will transition through there trying to get to somewhere or trying to get to the next spot. And so if you start there, you're not going to get too much loot and you're going to have to fight a lot. You're going to run out of material quick. If you pass by there, it's not a good spot either, because if you're approaching Dusty Depot and somebody's hiding in one of the warehouses, you're passing through all these open fields, and if you don't have a lot of stuff to build yourself cover, you're going to find yourself in a bad spot. So I definitely try and avoid Dusty Depot at all costs. However, most of the time you don't have that luxury just because it is in the center of the map. So if you are passing through there, make sure you got plenty of loot. Take your time getting through there, just like Loot Lake. Get through there carefully, slowly, and make sure you win your gunfights, and good luck. That's it for this, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Have you tried, are any of these 5 places your favorite spots to drop? Let me know why in the comment section below. And hopefully you are checking the other videos in this series out. Hopefully they're helping you out. If you guys did enjoy this video, please don't forget to leave a like. If you haven't yet, don't forget to subscribe. And if you're not following me on social media, all the links are down in the description below. And as always, guys, my name is Argon. I'll see you next time. Peace.